Congress has a few important jobs. One is to ensure that the government does not shut down. For some reason, they can't seem to do that. Watch this.
Lawmakers are scrambling to fund the government to avoid a shutdown. That's become an annual tradition here in Washington, D.C., much like decorating the White House Christmas tree. Congressional negotiators have just 5 days to reach a deal or to extend the deadline, all of which is further complicated by the looming Republican takeover of the House of Representatives in January.
Yeah, Jake Tapper got that right. This has become a tradition. We've become accustomed to Congress always being in constant, let's avert a shutdown mode. It's dysfunctional as hell. So the crisis has been averted somewhat. Let's take a look at this headline. House passes stopgap bill to avert shutdown at end of the week. Not a whole lot of time. There's one continuing resolution after another, and we constantly are left on the edge of our seats wondering how, oh how, yes, or when will Congress get its act together when it comes to making sure that we are not always facing a shutdown. And how many other professions would be allowed to do this? Not many, not any that I know of. People would be fired on the spot. But yet these folks that we elect to office to do several jobs, but I just wanna say they had one job. So I wanna say in this particular moment, although Congress has several jobs and several responsibilities in terms of the budget and averting a shutdown, they just got one job. And Jesus, Mary and Joseph, they can barely even do that. So none that I don't know of any profession that would allow this. Do you? I know we're gonna have viewers weigh in wise in a little bit, and I would just want any of them to share with us that if they know of any other profession where folks can just get an F over and over again, fail to meet expectations over and over again, lie to the people over and over again, and get to keep their damn job.
Man, it's quite impressive, honestly, how enduring this stupid tradition has been. Because as most of our viewers know, they didn't start pulling this kind of stuff until the Obama administration. And it's one of the sort of relics or remnants of Obama's time in office, in that Republican cynicism just kind of knew no bounds, right? It's this idea that they understand that a low information voter, normal people who aren't political nerds or dorks about this stuff, like say me and Nina are, who are paying attention every single day, they hear government shutdown and they think, great. I hate the government. Shut this thing down. These people are screwing up. Yeah, maybe we do need a shutdown so that we can get this thing cleaned up. They don't understand what the actual mechanisms of a shutdown would actually mean, right? The type of goods and services that everybody, red or blue Americans, depend on would start to be withheld after a while. Like that stuff doesn't get explained by people like Ted Cruz, right? And so, the cynicism, you would have thought after, they got to do this against the first black president, they'd have moved onto a new hobby horse, but that they're still doing this is quite ridiculous, honestly, Nina.
Yeah, very dysfunctional. I mean, it's Congress. The Congress operates in dysfunction over and over again, so much so that we become accustomed to the dysfunction and don't make better demands. So the House did vote on Wednesday evening to pass a stopgap bill, and that stopgap, that's your key. Bill to avert a government shutdown at the end of this week, with funding currently set to expire on Friday at midnight. The vote was 224 to 201, with 9 Republicans joining with Democrats to vote in favor. The stopgap measure will extend funding for another week until Friday, December 23rd. So here we are, just 1 week. That's not a lot. To give congressional negotiators time to finalize a broader full-year government funding deal with new top-line spending levels. And it wasn't like they didn't know that this was coming. They do this year after year around about this time, as we say, about this time. So this is not new. This is a duty. This is a job. This is an assignment that they are fully aware of. But you know why? They just don't care. So they keep us teetering on the edge. In a sign of progress, however, top negotiators announced Tuesday evening that an agreement had been reached for a framework that puts lawmakers on track to complete a sweeping full year, just 1 year, government funding package. However, negotiators have not provided many specifics on that agreement. Guess what, sisters and brothers and family and friends? The details, the details, the details, and I say one more time, the details. So except that the top line is $1.7 trillion. There has been a partisan dispute though, surprise, surprise. A bipartisan agreement for a full year government funding deal has proven challenging to secure amid disagreement between the two parties over how much money should be spent on non-defense domestic policies. Please keep that up, team. Wise. Now we're gonna stop right here because we need to bold it, we need to underline it, we need to underscore it, exclamation point, and put a damn message in a bottle on a train. Let me read this just one more good time. Can we just do this one more again? A bipartisan agreement for a full year government funding deal has proven challenging to secure amid disagreement between the two parties over how much money should be spent on non-defense domestic priorities, on non-defense domestic priorities, on non-defense domestic priorities. But just around the corner, right? They just passed in a very bipartisan way over an $800 billion defense budget, giving the president $45 billion more than what was asked for. And this has happened under most presidents in recent history, whether they be Republican or Democrat. Same thing happened under President Obama. Same thing happened under President Trump. Same thing. So Wise, what boggles my mind, what confuses me, riddle me this. Why is it that they can always muster the courage and the intestinal fortitude to pass a military budget to make war? I hear the urban poet in my ear right now, Tupac, who said they always got money for war, but they can't feed the poor. Why can't they come up with a domestic, bipartisan way to take care of the people right here, right now? I don't understand it. And my hair is on fire. And yes, I need my fire extinguisher right now, Wise. I do.
And listen, you're sanctifying my soul right now. I'm not gonna lie, because this is it. This is the ball game, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to spending on defense, these things sail through Congress. The president signs it right on through, and a couple of things. You guys remember stuff like the COVID relief bill, the infrastructure bill, all of this. You guys remember cost saving measures, means testing. Remember the COVID bill was like, well, no, we can't get to people who are making this much and blah, blah, blah. The penny pinching. The penny pinching that took place when it came to the goods and services that would be rendered to everyday normal American citizens. It's like everybody's their best accountant in Congress when that happens. With the military, you know what this reminded me of, Nina? It's I can remember my niece when she was young asking me for $5, and I said, you know what? Here's 10. You know, I just gave her 10. I just wanted her to feel so good. I wanted her to love me. So I just gave her 10. This is what Congress giving Joe Biden even more than he asked for his military spending reminds me of. They just love the defense spending so much. They just want everybody in the defense industry to know Congress got your back. Congress loves you, Raytheon.
Yeah, you got that right. But your niece, giving her extra is a lot different than these fools giving the military industrial complex. And you giving that baby gonna edify the world. These people that wanna make war. I mean, just think about that. Can we just wrap our minds around the concept that we are living in a country and in a world where the zeitgeist of the moment is about war making? Where at this particular critical time in human history, we can never afford a WW3 because that means that we all out of here. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. So why on God's green earth would these folks put so much intention on giving money to the military industrial complex? I mean, Big Wise, they not putting their intention on curbing homelessness among veterans. They're not putting their time and attention on the enlisted men and women and family and friends. Most of that money is going to Raytheon, as you just named, and other war-making type corporations. It is insanity. And so these fools, and that's what they are, they got to negotiate on the domestic side, but they skipping a loo. They hopping and skipping and jumping and dancing to give money to the military industrial complex. I don't get it. But you know what my maternal grandmother would say about this time? She would say they got more nerves than a brass a monkey. That's what she say. Fill it in. Y'all know what the rest that says. Let's put this up real quick. Republicans are critical of recent domestic spending. Of course they are, because that's what Republicans do. They're critical of recent domestic spending by Democrats and argue that measures Democrats have passed while they have been in control of both chambers of Congress, like a $1.9 trillion pandemic relief bill, Woz and I were just talking about, and a sweeping healthcare and climate bill are wasteful and will worsen inflation. So let me get this straight. Let me dress this up. But Lee, put it back up. This is what these fools are saying. That investing in the American people by way of dealing with a pandemic that was 100 years in the making, hadn't had one in 100 years, a worldwide global pandemic, that was spending too much money to make sure that people have healthcare, which they barely doing that. I don't even know why that's up there, but that's too much. And a climate bill is wasteful. Republican voters, get your people. You see how they feel about you? They don't give a damn about you. Get your folks. And Democrats use that money for climate relief, healthcare, really, and climate. I'm done. You know what? America, at a certain point, we are complicit in our own demise. Now you got to get these fools. The Republicans are out of control. And you heard that in their own words that the Democrats have wasted money. I mean, at least getting shots in arms and dealing with the pandemic was something that should have been done. They did it fairly well. I mean, there's some other things they could have done, but to have Republicans just basically say, hey, y'all, hey, if you live, you live. If you don't, you don't. We shouldn't have put no money into that effort. These fools are crazy.